Post-pandemic, everybody's into merchandising now, but you somebody who kind of like dove into it early. Tell me what it was like establishing your own brand.
11 years.
11?
Been running, 11 years. I was telling my brother off camera, the homie Sam Scar, your brand is your tribe, and vice versa. And whenever you establish something and when you push something, it becomes tribal. And you must put everything into that to respect, abide by, live by your code of what your tribe represents. When we created the clothing line, our clothing line not just represented something as an individual or demographically, but it was something that people could relate to here and far, just based off the fact of the name is the dope bearer. And in the black community, we all experienced what the dope bearer meant. And for every other individual, it had different meanings.
Okay.
And with our clothing line, we wanted to refurbish that through fashion, idealistically being able to utilize fashion as a way to not only get a message out, but to continue to further the acknowledgement of our tribe.
Okay. Tell me about the strategic motive to place Huey Newton on the front of the storefront, right below the title Dope Bearer.
We're from Oakland, California.
Pardon me?
We're from Oakland, California. With us, Huey Newton is synonymous with, when you think of Oakland, hold on. Look, I'm doing this interview. When you place Oakland, you think of the prominence that Oakland once represented, the black neighborhood, the unification, the mecca of social intelligence, of social reform. And there was a multitude of other things that was represented by Huey Newton and his constituents. I think, unfortunately, the demise and the downfall, as he began to spiral away or spiral down, more people focused on the down. To me, the uprooted philosophy that he was able to implement in the communities around the world is something that is not talked about enough. So when we say Dr. Huey Newton, I felt like that's a big representation of continuing that race. We talk about the brother Nipsey and the marathon continues, and there are several marathons that have started that no one has taken the baton to continue them. I see a lot of similarities in the things that Dr. Huey Newton was doing that I wish to continue and further. And that's the protection, you know. I feel like I put them in the window to let people know that this is what we represent.
No doubt. You were introduced to pretty much the master. I'm from the East Coast, by the way, by way of battle rap. Was that your original trade, or you were a devout MC recording prior to that?
I would say just an artist, man, you know. I came in the game writing poetry. I think my poetic expression was from my father dying and I had nobody to talk to. My mom was always working, and I began to jot down my ideas in my notebook, and that's what led me to winning poetry competitions, like, you know, in high school, in theater, being able to be an orator and speaking. I was able to do that. I pride myself in wrote the class speech for my 12th grade graduation.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like things like that. So from a writer perspective, man, and then, you know, as hip-hop became the most influential genre of music ever, why wouldn't I, you know, dive into it, as indulging into that, from rapping, battle rapping, and writing, you know. So that's just what, it was always just that passion of writing.
What was your highest level of education completed? Just talking to you, you're very articulate. I can tell you very intelligent.
Dropped out of college.
Okay. I knew you was college educated.
Dropped out of college. Tell myself all the time I'm going to go back.
For what?
I think just to complete it.
Right.
You know, you never want to leave stones unturned.
Right.
Especially the stones that you pushed in the road.
Right.
So maybe eventually, I think they're in the process right now of giving me an honorary doctorate, which would be dope, and I feel like that would be completion to me.
Right.
But I've always been amazed with education. I study educated people.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? I just, there's something about that pushes me, that thrives towards me. You know, that's just something I look up to. One thing that I respect. It wasn't always about the gangster stuff to me in the communities. It was like, you know, I would more so like the intelligence.
Right.
Even through the drug dealers in our community, it wasn't like, yeah, you sold drugs. That wasn't what was dope. What was dope to me was, how are you able to galvanize all of these people and organize this type of situation? How did you able to do that? You know, you can run a gang, you can run a Fortune 500 company.
No doubt.
So, you know what I'm saying? For real.
I interview a lot of independent clothing designers, and I interviewed one prior to coming here, with you tonight. And our discussion led to us basically knowing and understanding that you guys, y'all successes, it kind of upstages the collegiate format, the American dream of going to school for 4 years. That's why I said, why do that? Because at this point we have this information and know that it don't take 4 years for somebody to become a made man, basically. The infrastructure associated with college, it normally leads to debt. So yeah, we immediately noticed that the independent designers are defeating and refuting everything that they told us about the American dream. How you feel about that?
I think
how you feel about being a part of that? How you feel about being a part of that?
Black designers rule the world, and we're not even talking from a fashion sense. Black designers are the original architects of this world. Everything that we've contributed to this realm has been designed from the black thought. In understanding that, we must be mindful to say that education is primitive to Caucasians and other people outside of the world. With us, it's an original thought. It's the original language. We are the first organizers of education, or organizers of curriculum, through calligraphy, through hieroglyphics, through anything of that nature. We have always designed what is considered to be cool. And so I'm only following suit of my ancestors, of what we're continuing to do, whether that may be demographically. Some people have never heard of us, Dope Era, or anything that we've done, but the tribe that we have here they're very tribal about what we represent, because they know that our clothing line has nothing to do, well, a little of it is, of course a lot of it is fashion, but it's more so about the impact that we make in our community.
Right.
We do a lot. We do a lot. Even in this store right here, this store isn't just a fashion store. This is an energy hub. This is a place where youngsters come in and reboot.
I get that.
This is the place where we have public libraries where you can come grab a book, help you, we educate, and we got scholarship programs where the kids could come sign up. We do things in the community where the schools may say, man, we need a few more dollars to get this field trip paid for. We fronting that, we doing that. And we're not doing it for the headlines.
Right.
So this is an energy boot, man. This is something far greater than a clothing store.
When you see clothing brands come out and they're so colorful, they go on with the wild colorways. How does that make you feel, being as though I've been watching you. You've been fucking with these colorways for a minute and shit. And now a lot of clothing brands come out. You see it, right? Everybody's colorful. Where do you draw inspiration from to, stand in there with all of that imitation?
The greatest form of flattery.
Okay.
I was influenced. To be of influence, to influence someone, that's major respect.
Okay.
To see someone that you've never met say that they've been influenced by something that you've done, for them to even mention it and recognize it, that's amazing. I think many must humble themselves in their creations. We've been blessed. We have an uncanny ability to create, to have unlimited cultivations and be able to curate it the way that we do. That's a gift. Why would you curse your gift with being upset that someone is influenced by you?
Right.
Just continue to keep creating more. And that's what we do.
No doubt. Tell me about your battle rap history. You on Smack, right?
I didn't do Smack. I actually brought Smack to Oakland.
Okay, I knew your name was associated with Smack.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me about your battle rap.
Shout out to Smack. Smack is a homie, friend of mine. Been rocking with Smack for a long time.
Right.
We was battling before all of that stuff. You know, but the difference of East Coast and West Coast battle rap is much different.
Okay.
A lot of the from the West Coast, a lot of the battle rappers were like off the head rappers. Like it would be like spontaneous thoughts. We rapping about what's going on right now, and we would battle like that. When I started traveling to the East Coast, I was realizing like, oh, this is premeditated battles.
Premeditated murder.
Like y'all, this premeditated murder. Like, oh, y'all thought about this. oh, you've been practicing these. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, so the first time, like I start traveling to the, Jersey and New York and stuff like that, and Philly, I'm seeing cats. I'm like, wait, how your mans know your bars?
So you was going over there to freestyle?
Yeah, that's how we always was doing.
Okay. That's a skill, but okay, I hear you.
That's how we knew. Like I didn't know that it was something different.
Yeah.
So I start going over there, and I'm like, yo, how your mans know your bars?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, like, oh, y'all sit up and y'all rehearsed it. This is premeditated murder.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like, yo, let me get in it. Like, you said, let me start doing that. So, me and Ars battled. I think one of the, but way before I battled Ars, it was like me battling Jen, me battling Royce the 5'9", me battling, you know what I'm saying? So it's just.
So if you battled them, you was in one of those Olympics?
I never did the rap Olympics. I remember those though. It was crazy. It was just events that was going on, and so the All Hip Hop event that was in New York, allhiphop.com. They threw an event. Me and Royce the 5'9" battled. It was a crazy little battle rap event out here. Jim the MC, me and him battled. Then I was doing some stuff, and I was like, me and Ars had been traveling. We had been doing shows. So we was going overseas to Sweden and Norway, and we'd be doing shows, and like the whole time I be picking at him, like, yeah, Ars, you cool in that battle. I eat your ass though. Pause. But you know what I'm saying? I'll murder you. Ars, he's like, man, you don't want it with me. And me and him would just crack, just poke at each other with those kind of jokes.
Right.
And then we ended up setting up a battle, and I brought him out here, and we battled out here. It was dope, man, because I was shocked that Oakland really was into that battle. Like, it was sold out. The event was crazy.
Yeah.
Then I threw what I like to say, a West Coast smack card. Like, I threw it myself. I had everybody out, come out here. Clips, me and Clips battle. Me, Clips, a couple other people. But it was fun, you know what I'm saying? I love the battle rap. It's just from a respected point of view, man. And you got to give respect to those dudes, man. Them dudes kind of like took the culture to another level, man. I remember watching it.
He was a part of it.
Watching it, man. Different spectrums, man. Sirius Jones and a lot of the rest of those guys, man, I was able to do some things to elevate that culture to the next level. So nothing but triple salutes, respects to them dudes.
Do you think you would have been able to pull off the branding here without battle rap?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. I like my branding has nothing to do with anything with battle rap. Like, my branding is.
You're talking about being as though you're a battle rapper, you're a lot more visible than the average merchant. Right.
Nah, before I was a battle rapper, I was a platinum songwriter.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, different, like platinum and gold songwriter. I'm a ghostwriter, famous ghostwriter, wrote for several individuals, you know what I'm saying? Like, hit records.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
That's the juicy shit. That's what I want to know.
Yeah. Like, so, like, before battle rap, like, I was already a independent artist that had sold hundreds of thousands of records.
Right.
So, I think to answer the question, would I been able to pull off the clothing line without my imprint as an artist?
Yeah.
I don't think the wave would have went as fast as it did, just based off the fact that I had already had influence.
Right.
And when you have influence, you can kind of steer where you want to centralize. For us to control the narrative, I think that was a little bit better due to the fact that I had already had a previous influence from another genre of something.
Right.
And my artistry was able to do that for me. So yeah, I think I catapulted that.
Where do you draw inspiration from? Because I catch some of your freestyles on IG when you decide to spaz out. Where do you draw inspiration from? Who's out now that you can look at they shit or listen to them and say, man, I want to go rip something up, or I want to go record right quick.
I just love everything that everybody's doing. Like, I'm a fan of music. I don't feel like this is whack, this is whack. It just might not be your flavor. You know what I mean? I love music. I love creators. I'm a black designer, and I would never disrespect someone else's designs. By way of design, we're here to appreciate art. You know what I mean? And life, like even Earth is just without art in it. If you look at that word, you take out art, it's just But I draw inspiration from my story, my mother and everything that she did to put me in position to be who I am today. My father, when we talk about artists, you know, I'm still looking at the Hoves. Like even Hove right now, without having to spit a rap, is very inspirational. To me, that's a dude that I always draw inspiration from. You know, everybody threw sticks and stones at Hove when he went to go partner up with the NFL. Then everybody jump rode his boat when he was able to pull off this halftime show with the NFL. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, those are the things that he's able to do. And he's showing people that you can infiltrate infrastructures and create and control the narrative. And that's what I'm on my way to do. I'm continuing to do so, whether it be through politics, through local governing and things of that nature, man. That's my mission. So, you know, Hove, but all of these young dudes, man, NBA YoungBoy, all of these young dudes, I like what they doing. People talk about YoungBoy, but they don't understand. He's the voice of those young kids that never had love.
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He the voice of that young dude right now that's 14 years old that feel like don't nobody love him. Don't nobody care about him. And it's him against the world. Right. He did, when somebody was like, yo, he like a Pac, and niggas like, yeah, right. Because they didn't see what they were saying. They're just talking about that despair. He the voice of them young dudes. There's no reason why all them young dudes listen to him around the country, because he talking for them. You know what I mean? You got to understand what's going on. And so I love everything that they doing.
One of the things that I got my own brands too. I do a lot of shipping. One of the things that I never figured into my endeavor was the cost of shipping. Once you start getting real money, like you go into the post office with 50 pieces and shit like that, that shit get pricey after a while. How you deal with that?
We don't really ship out stuff. I got a low limited e-commerce, and the reason was I wanted people to come here. We miss out on a lot of money. But you make it.
So to cop, somebody got to come here?
You got to come here. Unless you're an Air member. And the Air member is through a subscription. Like, you become a subscribed member, and we'll lock you in. So now you're a part of our tribe. But other than that, I'm not shipping nothing. People like, yo, I'm in Chesapeake. Woo, I'm trying to get this. I'm like, nah, you got to pull up. I'm like, yo, for real? Or subscribe. If you subscribe and become an Air member, then we'll send you out stuff monthly. But other than that, for one, it controls the exclusivity.
Yeah.
And the exclusivity, people always want what they can't have. And the supply and demand would be more so, you want it, you can't get it, you want to come. And when you come, not only do you enhance the economical state here in my city for my business, but the money is spread locally and you're able to spread that with other businesses as well. So that's the beauty. Mr. Holiday.
Growing up, who inspires you to rap out here? I want to hear about some local legends. You can name some people who didn't make it.
Too short.
I already know that.
Like no,
somebody else besides him. Like I said, somebody that did make it.
Some people that didn't make it.
Somebody that didn't make it nationally, but out here was the shit. Was fire.
Too Short, Mac Dre, a brother named Askari X.
Askari X.
Now, Askari X may have been somebody who didn't make it on a large scale.
Right.
But the brother Ansar Muhammad was like a 5%er. He's a Muslim. It was a multitude of things. He was a very intelligent messenger. In the midst of finding his message, you know, he may have lost his way a little bit mentally. I think when you've been blessed with such a great mind, it's dangerous. And, you know, it takes a responsibility to be able to manage it.
Right.
But that brother had a record, Message to the Black Man, you know, mentioned after the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's book. But this brother was heavy. I'm talking about heavy. His speaking voice was something that I always honored and I always looked up to, and I acknowledged that as like, yo, the way he's able to dictate what he was saying, even through music.
Right.
So that's a you know, key component to one of my rap styles as well. When I go in that bag, I did an album called America Don't Love Us a couple years ago, and I actually got a chance to see him. And it was crazy because I saw him on the streets and I was like, I pulled over. and was like, yo, I don't know if you know who I am, but I would love to do a song with you. And I was like, man, I miss it. He's like, oh, I know who you are, Fab. I know who you are. I'm like, you know, you still rap? It's like, yeah, man, you know, man, I'm always, you know, his mind state may not have been at the best.
Right.
He like, when you want to do it? I'm like, man, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, this is like, you know, seeing somebody you grew up with, you know?
Right.
You're like, yo, like now, like whenever. It's like, man, I come to the studio with you. He came to the studio. He wrote it, like, goddamn, and it was crazy, the record we did. And I was so juiced because I was like, yo, and I was like, yo, let me give you some money. Like, I understood the situation. Like, I never paid nobody to rap ever in my life. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was always like, I got records with Kendrick Lamar, 2 Chainz, every artist you could think of, I got records with.
I remember seeing that name in the magazines, Askari.
So, like, I was eager to give him something, just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Askari, man, that's... Man, like, you know, if you ask me somebody who may not have never ever made it on a major scale, I definitely would say Askari, man. One of my biggest influences.
Damn. 2022, you still active musically? You still got work out in the streets?
Of course, just dropped the project 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
The project is called Black Designer. Black Designer is every record. It's 22 records for the year 2022, but every record is named after an influential black designer.
Ooh, wait.
Of all different. So I may have a record like one is W.B. Du Bois. Some say Du Bois. You know, he was very adamant on how he wanted his name pronounced. Then there's a George Washington Carver. Then it's there a Marie LaRue, and it's educational. One is a T.D. Jakes, Michael Jordan. I even got a record, Sean Carter. And each record is named after, you know, Bessie Coleman. I'm just trying to kind of like brainstorming about the names of the records. But the reason why I did that is I was able to say I'm highlighting black designers of culture.
Right.
The architects of what we have going on. And so the whole album is like that. I got Rick Ross on the album, T.I. on the album, my brother Lecrae, which is an amazing artist. He's a gospel artist. He's like a gospel rapper. But he's a bar. We have a record called Pray For Me on there. It's like T.D. Jakes, but the record is super dope. And some other artists that are, you know, my young boy from my neighborhood, HD, and some singers and vocalists. But the album is dope. And one thing I like about the album is I don't cuss one time on the whole album. And what I say by that is just, I feel like I don't want to give a person a reason to be offended to not listen to it.
Right.
So I want to say, what's your excuse for not listening? You know, some people are like, yo, the explicitity of the record, I don't want to hear that. Okay, well, here's something that's no curse words. And now you have to digest this. Many of our messages have been missed because people would say that they have disagreements with the messengers. So the new record is, to me, it's like, it's possibly and arguably my best body of work, just based off the fact of what I was able to put into it, how I was able to put it together, and just release it. Like, man, here, man, I'm not doing it for money no more. It ain't about money. It ain't about fame. It ain't about the notoriety. It's just about cementing the legacy of black excellence.
Where is it available at?
All streaming platforms. Available on all streaming platforms. We're doing a special NFT for it. Like, I'm doing like some collector item stuff for the summer. Like, I'm really gonna ride this wave with this project. Something I haven't done in a long time, where you really work a record. So we're doing like vinyl, CD, tape, cassettes. We're gonna put the whole thing collectively in abundance and put a bundle together and really push this record, shoot some visuals. And I'm writing a play to it.
Okay. So
the play would be like me performing arts, acting out all of the people who I'm talking about. It's gonna be a history lesson, which will transcend into adding it into the curriculum for the school that we plan on opening next year.
Sure. Tell me, one of the last things I want to ask you about is the podcast. You was sharing some things with me and Sam prior to us filming. Tell me about your podcast. Me
and my uncle have a show called the Mistah F.A.B Show. It's like a hip hop version of Sanford and Son. You know, my uncle's He's an extremist. He's a wild boy. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's like the hip hop Red Fox. And that is a dope, that's a great way to describe it. And we go around city to city and just, you know, we lock in with the local rappers and the local businesses. And we just, you know, we just chop it up and do what we do, man. Last week we were with Bun B on his birthday and his anniversary out in Houston for the Houston Rodeo. He just did something so historic. He was able to put all of the Houston artists together on one stage and perform in front of 73,000 people at the Houston Rodeo.
That's crazy.
We were able to do like some behind the scenes stuff with him and his wife, and just us clowning. We was at the carnival. So we do these things in city to city, like some robbing big. Like we just going out just crazy, doing what we do. And it's catching on. We've had a few meetings with a few networks, trying to see if we could take it to TV. And then our podcast is he and I just talking the way that we talk and doing what we do. So I look forward to that, the Unc and Fab show. And we're doing, during the summer, the Dope Air Festival. That's next for us.
Okay.
Dope Air Festival, where we're going to put together some powerful acts from all over the country.
Yeah.
And a music festival. And last but not least, I want to look at the camera and tell y'all this. We're doing this Dope Air Academy, spring 2023. The Dope Air Academy is a school of extracurricular arts for all of the kids in our communities that's going to come out, the black and brown kids, and we're going to help re-implement some of the trade programs that are being removed from our schools, from plumbing to electrician to engineering, as well as modernize sustainability with computer coding, financial literacy, cryptocurrency, more on and more so, to teach these kids to be able to have an advantage in the world that we're living in today, for more improvement of black excellency and being more black designers. And that's the curve, that's the way, the Dope Air Academy Charter School, and that's what it's all about with us, man.
You sound like you continuing the mission of Bobby Seale and Huey Newton. You got it all over you. Everything you just said, it sounds like the breakfast program, 2022 breakfast program.
Same thing, like our whole curriculum and syllabus is the same thing.
As I really appreciate you, man.
To reiterate what we said in the infancy stages of this interview, is someone has to continue the race.
No doubt.
You know?
Tell them where they can find you at online. Is the podcast already out on the streaming site?
Yeah, we've been putting no, we just YouTubing the podcast right now. Go to our page, subscribe, Dope Air Network. And everything else is, our Instagram. We all on the Instagram, Fabby Davis Jr. And Dope Air, man. Just look up Dope Air, hashtag Dope Air. It'll lead you to us some way, somehow. Make your era dope, man, no matter what you're doing. And continue to keep stapling your legacy by doing something that they're going to have to go back and study and reintroduce years later. You'll never die, forever young. The airway, not the other way. Gully TV, man, we appreciate you coming out to the city of Oakland. That's how we rock.
My man, appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.